Well, Tom,
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric.
Things that's going on
Arkansas
in Michigan
owned.
right now.
Arkansas
Big Ten schools,
operated.
coaches frustrated with
GoPascal.com.
what the Wolverines allegedly did. And kind of to tie that in, you'd be mad if someone was plagiarizing your work and saying it was their own, correct?
Yeah, no question about that. And as I heard you guys talking, a lot of thoughts ran through my head. And among them are that people were aware that it was happening because what they did is they documented all the flights and what the plan was for the rest of the year. So I think there was an in-network in the Big Ten that they were aware it was happening, and they're like, okay, they're doing this, but what we're going to do is we're going to we're going to talk amongst ourselves and get details, the ticket purchases and all this at each of these schools. So it's not just they're just saying this. It was like we're gonna set up the conspiracy here, basically. And I haven't done a deep dive, but I've read enough on this to see that it looked like people were aware of it and set up a lot of information to turn over to the authorities. And this poor kid, I mean, he looks like he was neck deep in this, but someone's also coordinating, buying the tickets and what have you. So it's going to wind up being I think there's going to be some type of punishment level that makes other schools think long and hard about trying to set up some kind of deal like this again.
You think Harbaugh's coaching in Ann Arbor next year, Tom?
Oh, boy, that's a tough one. I mean, and as Chuck was pointing out with you guys a minute ago, I do believe that there's a kind of get Jim Harbaugh thing because of the way he conducts himself. But, this is we've never seen anything to this scope. So, I don't know. It's probably 50-50 on that.
Yeah. Tom Murphy with us on the McClarty Daniel Hotline. It's been a week of change around this football program, Tom. Kenny Guyton taking over as play caller and coordinator, going to work with the quarterbacks. Got someone else working with wide receivers now. Just, as the weeks unfolded, has your thoughts changed about where this offense is headed moving into the Florida game next week?
Well, I do hope that they do winnow down to the things that they feel like they do the best, that the team's a little bit more motivated to play, and, that Kenny Guyton can find some buttons to push that it was baffling to me that Sam Pittman would say they would practice rolling the pocket, and I think they did it a little bit in the LSU game, but in that last game, Mississippi State ran its twists, and the attack point was behind center 6 or 7 yards almost every play. And you could see KJ probably is looking down at the rush a good bit now, which takes his eyes away from – I mean, there was one play where Tyrone Broden was running across the middle by about 15, 20 yards deep, and no one was even close to him. That if he can just see it, he can hit it. And so I used the word constipated with you guys about 2 weeks ago, and it looked that bad and worse on Saturday. And here's the thing. There's been a couple of games where they've converted third downs. I mean, their third down conversion rate's not horrible. But there's been a couple of games like LSU and even Bama where they move the ball. So, but I do get Sam Pittman's point that if the players you don't get the sense that they're ready to run through a wall for you, that there's something the matter. And hopefully these last 4 games they can finish with some type of offensive flourish.
So, Tom, through all of the pain of the constipation, as you described it, with the offense, I'm really impressed with how Travis Williams has kept this defense playing at the level it has. How has he managed to keep that side of the ball at such a high level while watching their counterparts just be ineffective in most possessions?
Yeah, great question. And unfortunately for them, they've been underplayed because of they're people. When you lose, people point out what's wrong. And I've tried to write about it on the weekly that, the stats are pretty good. The stats are a ton better than they were last year. They're sacking people. And I just think that they came in with fresh ideas, that Travis Williams is a positive coach. I mean, they get coached hard, but they get loved up too. And when I hear him and Marcus Woodson talk, you're hearing caring guys that know football. And I don't think enough can be said of the quick turnaround because, other than Hudson Clark and Dwight McLaughlin, this has been almost a wholesale change in personnel from a unit that did not cover the pass well at all last year. Hope to see McLaughlin back here in the last 4 games, but they've gotten, they've discovered more depth at linebacker, and the D line, the guys they added on have been, they don't have a Drew Sanders among the bunch on the front 7, but all told, the group has done really well.
Tom Murphy with us here on the McCarty-Daniel Hotline. Tom, you speak of defense. Arkansas basketball is going to have to play some good defense Saturday afternoon against Zach Edey and Purdue. What do you think about that matchup? And it doesn't sound like that Jalen Graham is necessarily going to be able to help this team based on his back spasms this week.
Right, yeah. Well, it looks to me like you'll have to rotate guys on him, give him different looks, front him sometimes, bracket him, and just do different things. And Musselman and the staff are going to be well prepared to do that. Do wish this was an in-season game, because when you think back to that Texas exhibition, it seems like a lot of that was like, hey, guys, this is how far we got to come, almost like a warning signal. And I don't know if it would have been that badly if it would have been an in-season game. So it's just going to be fun to see how they defend Edey, how they come at him offensively. We were talking to Trayvon Mark, and he's like, you got to know he's there. And, floaters become more of a part of your game plan instead of getting all the way in there. And if you do, go into his body and stuff like that. So it's going to be a fun, high level. I mean, an exhibition game at Arkansas is creating a ton of interest, and that's a really cool thing that I don't know if you could have said much over the past 25 years.
I know he got named to a watch list for the Jerry West Award. This team is really put together differently than Muss's previous teams. How much quicker do you think they can gel based on it's either 8 or 9 seniors on this roster?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm not sure if I'm, suited to answer it, other than it feels like they're recruiting guys who understand they're going to get taught well, they're going to get shown NBA-style systems and offense and defense and all this stuff, and they care about the game enough that they'll buy in. I mean, this is going around the industry, you guys, and so that's why they get the guys they get. And so the chances for them to gel and kind of show what their maximum capabilities are early, I think, are good.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.